All right, welcome back to Calling the Audible for the co-ed division, and this is the Tier 2 final preview as we do have fantastic night against the Semi-Cocon on Monday Night Football at 8 p.m. As we do have the two teams in this final here. We welcome in the Prime Minister, the one who covers this division for co-ed, Alexi Dubois. Prime Minister, how are you today?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
We're okay. We're well. We're trucking along here at the shipping container in parts of Nova.
Surviving.
All right, so let's dive into it here as we get ready. As we do have like 10 minutes of chat here with Alexi, Prime Minister.
Absolutely, I totally remembered to reset
As I
the
was
clock.
indirectly trying to remind you of the clock here.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, so Fantastic Nine, Le Semi-Cocon, Prime Minister. Was this the expected final that you thought would be as we approach Monday night?
Depends when you're asking me about this. If you asked me at the halfway point of the season, I'd have said yes. If you asked me any point after the halfway point of the season, I said no. I was 100% expecting the Semi-Cocon to lose to Yin Yang in the semis, but they surprised me, and I think they surprised a lot of people by eking out a really narrow win against Yin and Yang, but that's the final I wanted to see.
All right, so when we look at Fantastic Nine, I saw them play a couple of times during the regular season, score kept their game. What makes this team very good in your mind? Do we look at the quarterback position for what they've done? Do we look at the receiving core? Do we look at the defense? What is the element that makes this team that much better?
So yeah, I've been around this team a lot. I've score kept the Division D equivalent of this team, which is Johnny Fireball a few times. And it's hard to put a finger on what makes this team very good. To be very honest, Le Roux at quarterback is good. He's not amazing. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He runs the ball a lot, but he's not fast like Ben McMahon. They don't have one dominant, insane receiver. I think a lot of it starts with a really good rusher on defense in Félix Daou, which makes a huge difference in co-ed where you have a lot of quarterbacks who tend to scramble. And I think it's just a well-rounded roster. There's not really somewhere that you can attack on their defense. You don't want to try throwing it deep against them because they have a ton of size. So more than one thing that stands out for this team, I think it's just an overall well-roundedness to the team.
So the last time these two played, Fantastic Nine won 34-32. Julien Proulx went off, catching 9 balls, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you think he's going to be the main target again for Semi-Cocon, or do you think it's going to have to be a more diverse approach?
No, I think it's going to be Proulx again for the simple reason that the way that Fantastic Nine play defense is they play a relatively soft defense, if I remember correctly here, dropping their slots relatively often deep, and they take away the deep ball very well. Fortunately for Marie-Ève Girard, her game isn't about the deep ball. It's a lot of short, very short throws, mostly to her snapper. Proulx is someone who can create yards after the catch. So I think they're going to leave that ball open all game long, let her march the field, and then challenge her in the red zone once they get there. So no, I think Proulx will march the field, but I think the issue really is going to be scoring in this game for the Semi-Cocon.
When you say scoring, Prime Minister, for Semi-Cocon, they only scored, I think, 30-plus points, I think, twice to 3 times during the regular season. How important will it be for them into ball control and to keep this game at a low effort, that's a slow burning matchup, so they don't get into high scoring? Because it feels like if it's score for score, they won't keep up with the horses.
No, I think they need to take a page out of Party Mix's playbook, Les Semi-Cocon, this one. And interestingly, Semi-Cocon did beat Party Mix this season. I think they're the only co-ed 2 team to beat co-ed 1 opposition. Mm-hmm. But if they try getting into a shootout, as Mo said, this is not going to be pretty. Girard, while she's getting better, she will make mistakes. She probably will throw an interception in this game. So more than putting the emphasis on the offense in this game, I think their defense needs to step up in a bigger way. If Proulx is rushing, he's a fantastic rusher. He needs to be able to limit Le Roux's ability to run. But ultimately, this game's going to probably come down to mental mistakes, if you ask me. The way that Fantastic Nine play with double QBs leaning into reads, double QBs with passes going back to the original QB, is they don't use anything that's super uncommon if you have never played football in your backyard. They just force your defense to keep on making the right decision. And if at a certain point you turn off or relax for 30 seconds and just don't think, which I'm sure happens to all of us all the time,
I never.
they're going to
think.
make you pay right away. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you should never play this team.
Exactly. But the thing is, with regards to this game specifically, last time they played again, Marie-Ève Girard threw 2 interceptions. But given that they usually will give her what she wants, is the key to success for her just absolutely always just taking the easiest read and matriculating the ball downfield, thus also keeping it to a low-scoring game?
Can I just say yes and move on? But essentially,
Sure.
yeah.
I basically did the analysis for you. You're welcome. Jeez.
I know, you're just
grateful.
spoon-feeding me the answers.
When you look at these two teams here, looking at Fantastic Nine, is there any weakness on that roster that perhaps Le Semi-Coquin can or could exploit on Monday nights?
Definitely. So I think the biggest advantage having a female quarterback in co-ed is that you can generally put out then 4 male receivers. And I don't think the women on Fantastic Nine are the strength of their team. So I think if you do get to a point where you have a matchup of one of your better receivers on one of the women on Fantastic Nine, that could create a mismatch. Just by having a female quarterback, it gets you that advantage, which I think Sarah Parker uses also all the time in Co-Ed 1. So I think that's where they need to look. If they really want to, play mean playoff football and take advantage and abuse a certain matchup, that's what they need to look at. But on the same time, I know Fantastic Nine, they don't play any man defense really. So they will need to essentially pick on a zone and just exploit that zone all game long. Peeze style.
Yeah, that's the one.
And Prime Minister, not to look too far ahead here, but with these two teams, where would you stack them with the Tier 1 teams? Hopefully with COVID-19, hopefully in control, we have bigger amount of pool of teams coming in for the future seasons. But we look at these two teams in particular vying for the Tier 2 title. Would you stack them as saying, yeah, they can be competitive in the higher division of co-ed, or are these two teams one of those that are just Tier 2, that's it, that's all?
Tier 2, that's it, that's all. They just don't have the depth across the board that Tier 1 teams have, and they don't have the same quarterback play. Like, put this very simple comparison between Fantastic Nine and, for example, Sriracha Hot's Chili Sauce, who are a bottom team in Co-Ed 1.
Mm-hmm.
GF Marquis is an amazing quarterback. He can scramble, he can run the ball, he can throw a much better ball than Leroux. And if you look at their roster, again, both teams' probably weakness is the women on their team. They have a decently well-rounded cast of athletes, except, Sriracha are just that bit better with that bit more experience. And again, GF is one of the best quarterbacks in Co-Ed 1. And they struggled and won 3 games. So if you're giving me a Sriracha Hot Chili Sauce light in Co-Ed 1, they win a game or 2. So no, I don't think they're ready for Co-Ed 1 yet.
You mentioned Fantastic Nine's ability to use the dual quarterback play calls. I equate that to the NFL's Wildcat, where once you know how to stop it, it's much less effective for the opposition. Do Les Semi-Coquins have do they have the knowledge to be able to stop it? Are they experienced enough in FPF to get that done? And who are the players that you think will need to lock down those 2 quarterbacks?
I don't think it's a question of knowledge. I think Les Semi-Coquins definitely know how to lock down the second quarterback. They have one good rusher, and you don't need a dominant second player to lock down a second quarterback. You just need someone to run at them, right? So it's just as simple as you tell
someone
on defense.
Who's going to do it quick, like as soon as they see it, get there, basically.
Just run. So it's not a question of talent. As long as you got reflexes, which are within a second or 2, you can manage it. So I think it's just, again, what I said before, it's mental mistakes and discipline. When you see that second player drop, follow them. And again, for the rusher, if Leroux at quarterback takes off running after he dishes the ball off, follow him. It's not hard. They have the athletes to follow all of them. It's just a question of, will they actually execute? So I don't think there's anyone who needs to step up. I think they just all need to play smart football.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, it is now time for your
drum roll of the week.
All right, it's time for your Tier 2 co-ed winner and score, please.
Okay, so I don't have confidence in Les Semi-Coquins protecting the ball. I think they'll throw 2 more turnovers in Fantastic 9. So I'll take Fantastic winning by the 2 turnovers or by 12.
All right, Eagle?
I'm going to disagree. I think Semico.com are going to be a little bit smarter with the football, and I think now that they know how to play the team, they're going to be better at it this time around. So I'm going to go with a 25-20 game for Semico.com.
Eagle, I almost agree. I think it'll be low scoring. I think it's going to be exactly what Semico.com I want, but I do think that one mistake is going to be right around the corner, and that's when the Edouard Leroux is going to make them pay. And I think the game is going to end 26-20, but in favor of Fantastic 9.
I got Semico.com winning this game 27-24.
There we go.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, are you looking forward to being in the booth on Monday Night Football, 8 p.m. with these two teams?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Would definitely rather be watching flag football than the NFL.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want to take flag football over the NFL?
Just make all your bets blind and you don't have to worry about them.
Exactly. All right, Mr. PM, we'll see you on Monday. And best of luck to these two teams here. Semico.com, Fantastic 9, 8 p.m. start on Monday Night Football for the Tier 2 title for the co-ed division. Look forward to calling that game with Mr. Prime Minister and hopefully a third member in the broadcast booth. We want to be very inclusive, as Peeze mentioned before. So hopefully we get a female voice in there as well.
When this episode gets posted, we will know who this is.
Hopefully.
So you should probably welcome them to the booth.
Welcome into the booth, the third member of the team. So look forward
You'll
to that.
just edit in your own voice saying, welcome to the
in.
booth, whoever the name is.
Jane Doe. All right, Monday night. We'll see you then.
Yeah.